Good evening. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm Amata Balachandra. We're going to be talking about the Save Morley protest that's been on for more than a year now in Goa. To give you some context about this protest itself, citizens and environmentalists have been protesting against three proposed projects. One is the double tracking project in Goa. Then there is a four-laning of a national highway, and there is a Goa Yanmar transmission power project. All of this, citizens and environmentalists say, will cut through the Bhagavan Mahavir Wildlife Sanctuary and Morley National Park. Now, to give you a context of what's happened as of now, the Union Ministry of Environment, Forests and Climate Change has granted clearances for the diversion of 140 hectares of forest land for the Southwestern Railways double tracking project. And this is according to the Indian Express. Obviously, citizens and environmentalists in Goa who've been protesting against these three proposed projects are not happy. We're going to find out what they're planning on doing next, whether they will be approaching the courts. I have with me Claude Alvarez, who is an environmentalist joining out of Goa. Mr. Alvarez, thank you so much for joining us and giving us your time. My first question to you is this. Apart from the fact that protests have been happening for the last 1.5 years, the Goa Foundation, for instance, has been at the forefront of the Save Morley, protests that are happening. First of all, if you can take us through, before we get into the clearance that the government has now given, first of all, if you can take us through why citizens are opposed to these projects.
Well, all the three projects taken together are going to fragment the sanctuary and the national park. And this is a potential tiger reserve. As a matter of fact, there are discussions even going right now. There's also a PIL in the High Court for asking why this area has not been declared already a tiger reserve. Tiger sightings are seen all over the place. We have got camera, sightings of tigers moving even in the sanctuary in which now these projects are being proposed. So originally there was a single line track which was constructed more than 140 years ago. That is somewhere in 1860. And there is a national highway also which was constructed way before this area became a wildlife sanctuary. And now what the new projects are going to do is they are going to increase the fragmentation into three new areas. And that is going to really destroy the integrity of the sanctuary and national park. Both these are contiguous areas. They are also named the same now. Now they are called the Bhagwan Mahavir Wildlife Sanctuary and Bhagwan Mahavir National Park. And if all the three projects go through as presently proposed, then we might as well say bye-bye to the ecological health of Goa's largest and most ancient wildlife sanctuary and national park.
So what is your response to the fact that now, despite so many protests that we've seen many FIRs also from the police in Goa against some of the foundations as well in the past. Despite all of that, the fact that the center is now given its approval for the 140 hectare land, what is the response by environmentalists? Will you now continue your protests?
See, the Goa Foundation is not in any sense connected with the protests in any direct way, because once the Goa Foundation always pursues a legal strategy. And we are always either to be found at the doorstep of the High Court, the National Green Tribunal, or the Supreme Court. And we don't normally participate in agitations and so on. Not that we don't like them or that we wouldn't want to do them, but I'm saying that that's a different way. And we have, for the last 35 years, we have adopted a separate way. And all these are, we would call, synergistic efforts to try and get to the same goal. And I don't think anybody is going to claim, if we are able to stop these projects, nobody's going to say, oh, the Goa Foundation stopped it, or this campaign stopped it. It's a common will of Goan society that these three projects should not go ahead for the type of destruction that they envisage. This is a common will. And some of us are more comfortable filing cases, and some of us are more, comfortable doing campaigns. And the Save Mole campaign is a very unusual campaign because it's led by only young people. But I know that the present dispensation in Delhi is not very favorable to young people. I mean, they think that all young people are a threat to the integrity of the country, and they're filing sedition charges against them for doing such innocuous things as, working with toolkits on the internet or something, which, according to us, it cannot be associated at all with any type of disruptive, program or whatever it is.
So you're effectively saying that you'll approach court?
No, DC, when a formal order is issued under the Forest Conservation Act or the Environment Protection Act, then we have no other recourse as a body but to approach the court to get these approvals cancelled. So we have already approached the court for cancelling the forest clearances given for the Tanmar 400 kV high tension line through the Bhagwan Mahavir Wildlife Sanctuary and through several reserve forests and the Dandeli Wildlife Sanctuary and so on. That petition is already in the court. As a matter of fact, I think it will come up on Wednesday for the first hearing. But we thought that the government would have some good sense and that they would not go ahead with this particular project because it involves phenomenal destruction of the wildlife sanctuary and national park. I mean, the national park is 120 hectares of prime forest which will be deleted, and the wildlife sanctuary is about 15.5 hectares. And then, of course, there's a small area of private forest outside. So totally, as you said correctly, it's between 136 to 140 hectares. Now, you can't destroy 140 hectares of a national park and a wildlife sanctuary for the type of proposal that you have come up with, because the economic justification is not there at all. The objectives are not there. This railway line was planned in the year and approved by Mamta Banerjee when she was railway minister, that far back in 2010. So the economics of the project at that time and today are totally different. And therefore, there's really no reason for going ahead with the doubling, because all the passenger traffic now is going by Konkan Railway. So very massive. And if you look at physical terms, the physical terms as per their own report is a removal and trans-movement of 1.8 million cubic meters of earth and rock. This is what you're going to move in the wildlife sanctuary for the doubling. This is insane. Nobody can do this in a wildlife sanctuary and national park. It's not permitted today under the provisions of the Wildlife Protection Act 1972. We already have a petition pending specifically on this ground before the High Court. So these projects would have to go through these legal challenges, where I am sure if the courts are going to enforce the law, they would obviously say, how the hell are you going ahead with these projects? Because the law doesn't permit to do these type of things.
Fair enough, but Mr. Alvarez, I want to take a moment and talk about what's in the document as well. And this is according to several reports, including the Times of India and the Indian Express, which have basically said that the Union Ministry of Environment has now stipulated that in order to address the apprehensions of the people, it says, as well to prevent spillage of coal, etc., all the rakes of the freight trains shall have a spill-proof or sealed cover, which is presently absent. So they mentioned a couple of things. You're saying that all of that is not satisfactory.
See, this is a hocus pocus condition. Because the ministry, the Department of Forests has got no authority to put such a condition. Their only job is to say that whether you are going to give a diversion order to divert this much forest or not. Now, you have got no business to keep on imposing a condition on the railways, because you know that that condition will never be carried out. I mean, there's no authority for the Forest Department to enforce such a condition. That condition would have to be enforced by some other group, maybe by a court or maybe by some other expert group. But you cannot put it as a condition of your forest clearance. That's total nonsense. The only condition you can put in a forest clearance is where you will do the compensatory afforestation, where that you will, convert, you will ensure that the land which you are using for compensatory afforestation will, be converted eventually into a, into a reserve forest under the Indian Forest Act and given to the Forest Department and so on. So, and you will have to pay a certain amount of NPV and compensatory costs and all those type of things. And you'll have to do this in a particular time and all, but it's all related to forest conservation and forest management. It's got nothing to do with whether the wagons have got some extra cover, which is a fixed cover instead of this tarpaulin, which keeps flapping about in the wind. And therefore is not very effective, because all along the railway track there are all these coal pieces, which have fallen down from these
along with the conditions, do you also believe implementation would perhaps be a problem? Because the other condition that they've also said is that the trees to be felled will be restricted to a minimum in the diverted forest land, they say, and that the trees shall be felled under strict supervision of the State Forest Department.
Well, I suppose the State Forest Department goes there once a year, if that means strict supervision. But the number of trees which are going to be immobilized, actually removed, is 22,488. 22,488 trees in a national park and in a wildlife sanctuary. If you're going to do this type of thing, you got to get your head examined. That's my blunt response to such a proposal.
And so now you're saying that legal recourse is the only recourse available, but if you can also respond to what the Chief Minister said, because there have been several representations by the people, and it seems like the government is sort of pushing through to ensure that these projects come through, because Goa Chief Minister Pramod Sawant, and this is as of last week, has said that many people oppose for the sake of opposing. They don't even know what or who the project is for. They oppose following someone else's instructions. They oppose only to politicize the issue. So what's your response to that?
But that's precisely what he is doing. The railway project has not come from the Goa government. It's come from the central government. So whose agenda is he pursuing? It's not the agenda of the Goans and the people who live in Goa, because they don't want that train. They don't want that doubling. The people along the track don't want that doubling. The people who move in and out of Goa don't need that railway track. So all that you need that railway track is for coal. And the Chief Minister himself a month ago has said, okay, we will respect the sentiments of the public and we will half the amount of coal that is going to go along these tracks. Now, again, we pointed out that you really got no business. You can't set the agenda of the port trust and say that you will bring 20 million tons or 10 million tons or 5 million tons. They are going to tell you that we are an independent, constituted body under the Ports Act, and therefore we don't have to listen to you.
No, right, Mr. Alvin, thank you so much for joining us and giving us that perspective. Environmentalists and citizens now basically saying that the only recourse available is recourse, legal recourse, and that they will, they've already filed petitions and it's in the court right now. But apart from that, the fact that there will be a large scale destruction to the forests in the Western Ghats, and they've also said that this will in fact give no benefits for local residents. But as of now, the center has approved 140 hectares of forest land for the double tracking project. But in the meantime, we'll really have to see how this pans out and whether there will be more protests. But thank you so much for watching.